Adam Savage here from Tested in my cave with a show and tell of a prop and a story. Now what I've got in front of me here is roughly $100,000 worth of poker chips, fictional poker chips. These are actually my replicas of Teddy KGB's poker chips from the amazing gambling poker movie Rounders, starring Matt Damon and John Malkovich and Ed Norton. One of my favorite movies, arguably responsible for the late 90s, early 2000s poker boom, alongside an amazing episode of This American Life and some other New York Times stories that came out. I'm obsessed with Rounders, and I wanted a set of Teddy KGB's chips ever since I saw the movie. Now, they're expensive. If you want to buy them from the film production, they show up on eBay from time to time for like, 20 or 30 bucks a piece, like per chip. Well, I'm not going to spend that for a full set. So I carefully looked at screen grabs of the film over a period of time and logged that there were 5 different kinds of chips, each with a different color of chip, a different color of pip, and a different number of pips. For instance, these $500 chips have 6 pips around the perimeter, where the $100 chips have 4 pips. I logged all this information and reached out to a poker chip company and said, could you make these chips for me? And they said no. And I reached out to another one a few weeks later and asked them, and they said no. And it started down this long journey of trying to find someone who could replicate these. And then I found this company, and I sent them the 5 different kinds of chips I wanted, and they said, seems like you want to make the chips from Rounders, which we built. What? I couldn't believe I'd actually found the company. Now, they don't want me to tell their name, so I'm sorry. I'm not going to share their name with you at their request. They had made a promise to the production that they would not make a second run of the poker chips. So we had to include a key difference between my poker chips and the production poker chips. And the difference is the bear. The bear on my chips is facing in the wrong direction. I don't mind that difference at all. I am totally fine with that. The number's the right color, it's copper plate, it's the same font. The bear is the same bear that they used. It's my high resolution breakdown of it from screenshots. And I was able to get a full set of Teddy KGB's chips. But that's not the whole story, because these have sat in my shop for like 7 years while I've tried to figure out what they could go in. What would they be carried in? There are all sorts of poker chip carriers you can buy with a wrinkle. This, I ordered 1,200 chips. Most poker chip carriers carry 1,000 chips. 1,200 is not a common number. So I had trouble finding one. Then I bought some 600 carriers and I broke this into 2 stacks and put them in those. But even those, they weren't that well made. They didn't feel authentic to me. It just wasn't right. And then I was watching Rounders last week, and I was noticing Teddy has the lockbox area where he puts out the chips. So Matt Damon shows up at the beginning of the movie with $30,000 and says, give me 3 stacks of high society. That's this. 3 trays of $100 chips, 300 of them. And Teddy delivers these out of his lockbox. And I thought, well, okay, so he's got an infrastructure for chips. He's had them made for his underground gambling ring. He's got his chips. Sometimes in these gambling rings, they don't have all their poker games on site. What if Teddy had to host a poker game outside of his legal gambling club? What would that case look like? And that was the thought experiment that gave me the idea to make the case for my set of Teddy's chips. It starts with this, sled. Now, this is a standard kind of poker chip carrier with a center handle. Usually in a casino, these poker chip carriers are clear as part of the transparency and ease of understanding that all the poker chips, like every bit of Vegas and casino infrastructure, is meant so that you can check the amounts of what you've got very cleanly. Like, it's very easy to tell in a poker chip carrier like this that you've got 100 chips. If you had 99, you'd be able to tell immediately just by touching the ends of the stacks. So usually in Vegas, the poker chip carriers are clear. But Teddy has an illegal gambling ring, so I thought it shouldn't be clear, it should be opaque. So this is my Teddy KGB traveling poker game chip carrier. But wait, there's more. I included a lock so that you could lock it up so that Teddy could carry it around. And the lock is actually attached to a little piece of hardware here. So now it's a very secure thing. Oh, but wait, there's even more than that. So when we open the lock to get inside and we pull off the cover, inside the cover itself, we have a couple decks of cards, an extra poker chip, one of John Wick's gold coins, and some matches from the Snake Pit in Blade Runner. I decided to do a spread spectrum homage to all my favorite movies here. This is what I imagined Teddy KGB would transport his chips around in a home game, and I'm really pleased with this construction. I'm very ecstatic about it, except for one reason, except for one thing, is there would be labeling on this. And I don't know, I'm really rusty with my Cyrillic, which is, if I knew Cyrillic, it was in a past life, but not this one. I want to put writing on this that somehow is canon to the Rounders universe. So part of what I was thinking, and I'm actually giving this show and tell to ask for some advice. I picture a large Cyrillic letter on the front, like Teddy might have 8 of these, right? 8 $100,000 chip stacks to be able to send out to home games for different Russian oligarchs. So maybe those are delineated by letters rather than numbers. I don't know. Does that work in Cyrillic? Do they categorize things by letters as well as numbers like we do in with Arabic numbers? I don't know. But I thought about a large Cyrillic number here and then something here that didn't say Teddy KGB, but had a kind of like a spray painted, you know where it's from kind of thing. And then I thought of like a Russian custom stamp over here. Anyway, I've been gathering visual data and reference material for potential kinds of writing, sticker, or signage that would go on this. But I need some advice from people who know Russian and specifically like Russian gambling rings. Also, by the way, I want to make this accurate and look really cool, but I also don't want to make it so accurate that like if I am riding down the street with my one wheel carrying these poker chips that some Russian mobster is going to get upset because it looks like I stole something, right? I'm not putting on airs here. I'm just saying I don't want to make it so accurate it actually gets me in trouble. But the question is, what would the signage on Teddy KGB's chips be? That's the next stage for this show and tell. Thanks for visiting me here in the cave. More show and tells later.